was meant to be taking a bit of a day off today, but this is my second video of the day, so clearly I'm not very good at this, taking a bit of time away from West Ham sort of thing. But it's hard. It's the end of the transfer window. We've got a game tomorrow. We've got a transfer deadline day the day after, which I think is going to be busy. And I want to talk about Nayef Aguerd. So I've run here, I'm fired up the quattro, so to speak, which is what I want to talk about because, well, it seems like he's been a bit of a weasel, really. He's refusing to go to Nottingham. Not because he doesn't like Nottingham. He might think Nottingham's a lovely place. I don't know. More to the point, he's refusing to play for West Ham when we go to Nottingham tomorrow. And, you know, look, these people get paid a lot of money, these footballers. And I think it's disgraceful. I think it's disgusting. He's trying to force a transfer away from West Ham. This is not the first time we've heard this stuff from Aguerd. We've heard this before. So I want to talk about that. Looks like not looking great for Lucas Paquetá. Looks like we're back in for Fábio Vieira. Looks like we might be getting far more money for Andy Irving than I thought we were going to get as well. So I want to discuss all that. Before I do, I need to ask you two favours, if that's all right, please. Firstly, to subscribe to the channel. Over the years, I've not really asked. I don't ask. I don't like asking because I don't like it. I don't like it when I'm watching one of my channels, like I'm watching an MMA channel or a boxing channel or something like that, and I keep asking. I think, I'll leave it out. Get on with it, will you? But it's made a big difference. So just within the last month, since I've been asking, I've had over 1,000 new subscribers last month alone. So all I would ask, if you're not subscribed, if you could just check if you are, underneath the screen there's a subscribe button. It's free. And click that and then click the bell and you get a notification. It's made a hell of a difference. So thank you very much to everybody that has. The other thing that I'd ask you to do is just have a little look at our Patreon page, if you wouldn't mind, please. The link's in the description below, patreon.com/HammersChat, or you can just Google HammersChat Patreon. It's reasons like that we're able to upload twice a day on 2 channels. Don't always upload twice a day, but we're basically here and we're basically around to do the latest West Ham stuff. And without Patreon in particular, we wouldn't be able to do this other stuff that's for free. Anyway, we've got a 7-day free trial. We'd love it if you pop over there. Have a little look. We've got 3 separate tiers. Just have a look. Have a little mosey. Be nosy around the page. It's our 3rd Hammers Chat channel. We'd appreciate it if you go and look at it at least. Can't ask for more than that. If you go and look at that and you subscribe here, honestly, I'll be a very, very happy boy indeed. What I'm not happy about, as I mentioned, is Nayef Aguerd. Not the first time that he's indulged in these type of shenanigans. 18 months ago, when there was the last African Cup of Nations, he was declaring himself unfit. This was how the story went anyway, allegedly declaring himself unfit. Not because he was actually injured, but because he didn't want to get injured. So as he was prime Nayef Aguerd for Morocco in the African Cup of Nations, he thought, I'm gonna take it easy. They sort of go out in late December, early January. So I think like through December or something like that, he just took it easy. Took his foot off the accelerator, so to speak. Didn't go too much on it on this channel at the time because you're never sure whether to believe it. But now there's been so many stories like that. You think, okay, no smoke without fire. So he's refused to go to Nottingham in a bid to force a transfer. Not just force a transfer at the price that he and his agent want. It's disgusting. Now, at exactly the same time, it was reported that also Lucas Paquetá hadn't travelled to Nottingham. That part is not true. Lucas Paquetá has travelled to Nottingham, and I think it's a little bit of mischief making. I don't doubt Lucas Paquetá would rather go and play for Aston Villa than West Ham. I totally understand that, but it's not fair him being chucked in with it. He's not mischief making. He's not kicking up a fuss, and I'm pretty certain, because this has been reiterated all the time from his representatives, all through the trial and the hearing and the result. Lucas very happy to stay at West Ham and pay West Ham back, right? I think it might only be for another season, but he's not going to kick up a fuss. He appreciates all the support from the fans. He appreciates all the support from West Ham. He's not going to kick up a fuss, and I don't think he has. So there's a lot of rumours going out at the moment that he's going to try and force a deal through at his price. I'm not so sure. But Aguerd is different, and it looks like he is absolutely doing that. That being said, I think we're going to lose both of them. And I've the Aguerd one, I'm only going to be repeating what I've said in the previous 2 or 3 videos. I think we need an attritional, hurly-burly, hulking, get your head on the end of it type of defender with leadership qualities. That's not Aguerd. So if we lose Aguerd and we get in one of those, Charlie Cresswell was the one that's been mentioned. I don't know if that's just wishful thinking. I don't think we can go back in for that. Is his name Hadji? I think that might have been his name. If we can get him, he's a good player. Anyway, I think Aguerd will go. I think Paquetá will go, because I just think that's going to happen. Now, when I've been talking about Paquetá going in a video earlier on, I very much thought well, do you know what? If Paquetá goes, we get to keep some money, which allows us to bring another player in, and we get Quinton Timber. That's okay. For all the reasons I said earlier about Quinton Timber's pace, his eye for goal, and his leadership qualities, you're not exactly getting the same player, but I think the net result is the same. I think I don't mind doing that. But that was the exchange that I had in my mind. I think I feel a little bit differently about losing Paquetá and getting Fábio Vieira. This I'm not quite so happy about, has to be said. Unless it was going to involve another player coming in as well, because I think that probably makes us worse than we are. I think we're better off with Paquetá. I also worry that, what happens to that Paquetá money, because, all right, it might be deferred. If it's deferred to next season, I guess that doesn't count, and that's not applicable. But if you look, and we sold Kudus for 55 million, let's say we sold Paquetá, even at that 45 million rumoured amount, or 50 million, it's 100 odd million pounds. You just think, hold on a second, we ain't spent 100 million pounds, so that worries me. Maybe we would, but we're not leaving ourselves much time to do it. I think the other thing that worries me at the moment is quite how much chaos, how many ins and outs there are right towards the end of the window. This is not stable. There's no stability here at all. I think it's going to be really, really hard on Potter. I think it was difficult and hard on Potter anyway, but I think what he'd probably need at this point is a really strong leader to galvanise this mob, because it doesn't seem like a particularly happy ship. There's a lot of people want to leave. And I think when you get to times like this, you do need a really robust, authoritative leader, somebody with obvious leadership qualities. I don't think you need the softly spoken approach, which is what I think Potter is. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that, because, I really hope we get the win tomorrow, but stuff like this doesn't help. I had started to feel a little bit better about it. Obviously Fernandes comes in, Bagassa comes in, and just at the point where you're starting to feel a little bit more positive and a little bit more upbeat. I think Nottingham Forest are a tough team to play anyway, but right at that point where you're feeling a little bit more positive, you then get this news that, players want to leave, and it's tough, a real tough struggle for West Ham at the moment, no doubt about it. Just quickly before I finish up, Andy Irving to Wrexham. So Wrexham have beaten a few Celtic clubs, a few Scottish clubs, including Celtic, to his signature, apparently. He's going to get the wages he wants, but that's been the hold-up. Because Wrexham are going to pay £4 million for him. I think that ain't bad. If we can get £4 million for him, I don't think that's bad at all. As I've mentioned before, he's 25 years of age. He needs to play. And it is an important contract for him, so I do... Yeah, look, this is not the same as Nayef Aguerd, nothing close to it. Nayef Aguerd is a rich man who's earned a lot of money from football and earned a lot of money from West Ham, and really should be paying some of that back by being committed to the cause, particularly as he's got... Look, I don't particularly rate Graham Potter as a manager, but I can separate myself from that and know that Graham Potter really rates Nayef Aguerd, and he's tried to support Nayef Aguerd, and he really wanted to bring him back and saw him as an integral part of his defence. As it worked, no. But that doesn't matter. It's still the right thing to do. If your manager's backed you, and I just think you owe him. I think he owes West Ham. I think he owes Graham Potter to at least try. And actually, I've mentioned him not running to challenge the rebound on the penalty in a game against Wolves. I think his lack of urgency and effort in that particular moment symbolises the overall lack of urgency and effort and willing to dig in and fight for West Ham. He just hasn't got it. I don't like it. I just don't like it at all. It's hard. I think it's hard when you're a football fan, isn't it? Because you follow a club all your life and you love that club, and you can't change your club. You don't change your club. You get your club for life, and you're so emotionally invested in it. So, and as West Ham fans, or just football fans generally, we'd all play football for our club for nothing, right? So I think it's hard when you see somebody that's paid whatever Aguerd might be paid, but millions of pounds each year, and they can't be asked. That's a tough one. I think that's a tough one. And not every football club has had that, haven't they? Let's be fair. Every football club has had a player that thinks, no, I don't think I'll bother. I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. I mean, he's best off gone, isn't he? But what I don't like is we're going to be disadvantaged by it because of his antics, going to force the price down. So basically, we end up buying this player for anywhere between 30 and 35 million pound. Can't remember precisely. Look, I'll let you decide whether we've had value or not. I think we haven't had 35 million pounds worth of value, and now he's going to decide how much he leaves for. I just don't like it. I think it absolutely stinks, actually. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's that. Right, game tomorrow. Join myself and Gio an hour and 5 minutes before kick-off. It's an important game tomorrow. It is an important game, particularly looking at the league. I mean, it's Wolves haven't done well today, have they? So if we can get a win somehow, I think everything will look a little bit rosier, and then we can just concentrate on the deadline, which is 7 o'clock on Monday night. So if we can get to that with some semblance of a decent squad, and having gained 3 points, things will start to look a little bit rosier. But honestly, it's all up in the air at the moment, and anything can happen at this point. And I mean that with the players, I mean it with the manager. Just massive uncertainty, isn't there? A club in a massive state of flux. You just don't know what's... It's very hard for you to pin anything on and just say, yeah, I'm certain this is going to happen. Maybe with the exception of Jared Bowen, you can look at him and think, yeah, okay, Jared Bowen is committed to the cause and he is here. But even someone like Thomas Suchek, you don't know. You wouldn't be surprised if he went to Everton on Monday, would you? Let's be fair. So it's hard. It's hard when you've got that uncertainty and that lack of stability. And instability, that would be the word. We are a very unstable club at the moment. And yeah, it doesn't help when you've got rats like that deserting the what seems like a sinking ship. I know people say, well, you can't blame him. I can. You don't have to do it like this. You just don't have to. You don't have to do it like this. And it doesn't matter if you think the manager's crap and you think the owners are crap. The fans deserve something. You know what I mean? The fans deserve players that will, pull on the shirt and respect it and play for it. So, yeah, anyway, there you go. Right, I'll catch up with you tomorrow.